celebrations. They've even got Sister Sledge will be there. So I am so excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, more as I listen to you, and I know that you have ebooks and you have all kinds of stuff on your website. What I want to know is when the whole story is going to be written in a book. Because, you represent what could take place if people were willing to take a chance in being quiet themselves and just hearing what might be there. You're the proof it works. When is that going to take place?
Oh, you know what? You and my husband ought to have a conversation together because he asks me the same question. You know what, Tony? I have probably 25 chapters. And one of the terrible things with me is because life truly is a story. And this is one thing for people to realize. People could sometimes give you 5 steps to follow, and it sounds like you're going to school. But when you hear stories, you become personally involved and transformed. I just keep going back and tweaking my books, but one day everybody will see them in print, and I'm hoping it will be in the next few months. But moreforyou.com, there's always something there for you. And so whether they have to wait for the full-time book, they could at least visit me, read my blogs, find me on my podcast, or write to me, and I'll give them one of my free, smaller ebooks. It would be my thrill and pleasure.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. I think you and I could go on for a couple hours.
I think
I'm going to reach out to you offline and make sure to see if there's anywhere else we can help you here at Tough Talk. I just can't say thank you enough for taking time out today to share what you're doing, and I look forward to having you back on the show.
Tony, thank you so much for inviting me on, and have a great Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and every other day of the week.
Now, a quick question, okay, because I just got a message on Facebook here. Is there a fee to go to this thing? Is some open to the public? Do they have to buy a ticket? Where can they find information out about it?
Great question. Look for UNESCO, UNESCO, or type in Nelson Mandela Day. It's in Frederick, Maryland, which is like the National Nelson Mandela Day events. They can just go and be in the park on Friday and listen to the music. It is free access to all. But then if they want to go to some of the individual smaller events and workshops, those things would have various prices. But it's an open event for anyone and everyone who'd like to attend.
All right.
Frederick,
we're
Maryland.
going to be checking it out, and we'll get it up on social media as well. So good luck. I don't think you need any luck at all. You got it going on. So we really look forward to seeing more about you soon.
Tony, thanks so much. Have a great day, and I appreciate being on.
All right. Thank you. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back with our second guest, Kathy Gruver, and she is also an award-winning author. She's the host of a national TV show. Kathy Gruver has been on the show before. You should remember the Alternative Medicine Cabinet. We're going to take a break and come back with Kathy. And while the show, as it's titled, Living Healthy in Life and Business, if you just listen to the first half of the show, you understand the title a little bit better. And we're going to continue when we come back with Kathy. We'll be right back after this here short break.
So you think you're tough enough for Tough Talk with Tony Gambone? Tony knows how to dish it out. Can you take it? Tony Gambone is a communicator, mentor, and entrepreneur whose tough style and generous spirit quickly garnered recognition in many a competitive arena. Now he's bringing his intelligence and knowledge to you as a hard-hitting radio talk show host and thought leader. Tune in and see for yourself. Tough Talk with Tony Gambone. It's a sure thing. To find out more, go to toughtalkwithtonyGambone.com.
Attention entrepreneurs, it's time to get real. Real about who you are, where you want to be, and what you're willing to do to get there. To make the leap from just getting by to making real money and making a real difference in this world takes a plan and certain skills. If you are serious about building a business that makes a difference in this world, join Michelle Sissom at her Legacy Live event in Houston, Texas, September 10th through the 12th. Learn more at LegacyLiveEvent.com. We will see you there.
Okay, welcome back to Workshop Wednesdays. My name is Tony Gambone. I'm here every week from 10:30 to 11:30 Central Standard Time. And if you missed the first part of the show, Maura Sweeney was our guest, and you can learn more about that by going to Maura, M-A-U-R-A, the letter 4, the word u.com. My second guest, a lady by the name of Kathy Gruver. As I mentioned, she's an award-winning author and the host of a national TV show based on her first book, The Alternative Medicine Cabinet. She's the winner of the Beverly Hills Book Awards, and she's earned her Ph.D. in natural health. I'll tell you, folks, she's authored a couple books on stress. There's a lot of information here you're going to learn from Kathy, so get a piece of paper and pencil. You're going to want to take notes. I'm still using the information that I learned a couple years ago when I first interviewed her. So, Kathy, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, Tony. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, and thank you for coming back and being on the show. I've always been following what you're doing. You're out there doing a lot of things. I don't know when you take time off. As I mentioned in the beginning of my show, we were talking about taking time for vacation and leaving work at home and not bringing anything on vacation with you. Do you do that?
Nope. There's no way. There's no way. Even when I just got back from, not just, that was in February, I was traveling through Egypt and Jordan, and I had my laptop, and I was posting what was happening to Facebook, and I was still looking at queries when I had the good internet access. The advantage of being alive in this day and age is that we have access to all this stuff pretty much wherever we go. The disadvantage is we have access to this stuff wherever we go. So it's really hard to put that down. But no, I was editing my book on the plane, and I was taking notes about things. I love what I do so much. It's not drudgery to me. It's not like, oh, I got to check my emails. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy people email me and need things. And so to me, time off is 2 hours on the trapeze or a wine tasting with my husband for a couple hours. I don't need extended amounts of time.
Well, okay, so you made mention of time spent with your husband, and I think in my monologue that was my point, where people need to really carve out time. If you have young children, okay, that's a different issue altogether. If your children, my wife and I are empty nesters, so we get to take time. We don't have to go on vacation to do that. We just have to do that, and maybe it's drinking a glass of wine, having a conversation about something other than business for an hour and then back to business, because that's what we live and breathe. But it's really hard for a entrepreneur, a solopreneur, to take time off to spend on vacation without thinking about business because, well, if you're a solopreneur, it's a 24/7 job.
Yeah.
So when we talk about stress and, healing, body, mind, and spirit, there's some stuff in there that has to be done in order for the mind to operate easily. So we know that it's not just on vacation, it's a daily thing. Can we talk about that a little bit? I mean, what is some of the things that the listeners out there, we live in a very noisy world. How can they calm that down? Is there anything that they can do? I wish there was a pill I could take, but it usually knocks me out. But is there something that they could do in order to, get themselves on a path where they're focused?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and to the point that you were just making of spending time with your kids or spending time with your spouse or just taking an hour where you're not thinking about business, one of the keys to that is just being present in the moment. And it doesn't count if you're down on the floor playing with your kids and you're thinking about the email you should be responding to, or if you're having an intense conversation with your partner, but you're remembering, oh, I should be doing all this other stuff, because that's not taking time off. You can be laying on the beach and still worrying about work. The key is being present in the moment, and that's a mindfulness practice. And, a lot of people think mindfulness and meditation is the same thing. There is certainly mindful meditation, but mindfulness is a completely different thing, and it really has to do with just being present in the moment, focused with all of your senses, with curiosity and presence. And I recommend that people do something every single day very specific activity that they do mindfully, whether it's washing the dishes, whether it's brushing your teeth, whether it's petting your cat or playing with your kid, really involving all of your senses. And the best one to me is just the dishwashing. That's just so easy to go to. Feel the water on your hands. What's the temperature feel like? What does the softness or the hardness of the water feel like? What does the soap feel like on your hands? What does the soap smell like? Does that lemony scent hit your nose? Look at the foam. There's always one little bubble that floats away, and you can see that little rainbow inside, and it pops with a spray of water, and you can see that in the light behind you. You can engage all of your senses and make that a fully present, mindful activity. And the next thing you know, you have an entire kitchen of clean dishes, and you've basically just done a meditation. You've put yourself back in that present moment. Because where is the stress? It's not here right now. It's either behind you in something you're still thinking about, or it's ahead of you in something that you're not even sure is going to happen. So the more we can remember to stay right here and now, it's hard to do, but we can practice, I think the better off we're going to be, and that way we don't work ourselves to a tizzy and then go, I need a week off. You can take a couple moments off every day and not have that buildup of stress and that need to just escape. So just doing something mindfully for 5 minutes a day really helps. It really does. And it conditions you to do it more often.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I'm reading a book, and it says to try to be quiet for 15 minutes. Just close your eyes and be quiet. Mm-hmm. I never realized how many things could go through your head in 15 minutes. It's just like, So it can't get quiet. So what you're saying is it's good to get quiet, but sometimes if you could just be doing something that relaxes you or, takes you to another space, and just washing the dishes or maybe it's walking your dog or, maybe some people can just sit out in the sun and just be quiet. But it's just doing the steps. Right. That is what you're saying, is to be mindful
exactly.
of what it is, right?
And it is. And to me, though, and I'm not a good meditator. We've talked about this. I'm very type A. I'm very go, go, go. When I do trapeze to relax, don't tell me to sit on a pillow and be quiet for 15 minutes because my mind goes, I get crazy monkey brain, and I start going through a to-do list, and all these thoughts float through. So focusing your thought on something. This is why I like the mindfulness practice of focusing on the task that you're doing, because you're putting your focus on something as opposed to, okay, clear your mind. I know very few people that can just clear their mind. These are long-term meditators. These are people that just have that skill. The average person, if I say to my dad, sit there for 15 minutes and don't think about anything, that's not going to work, And I think that puts pressure on people, and I think this is why so many people don't meditate, because they find it frustrating. They feel like a failure. It stresses them out more. They think they're doing it wrong. This is why I think focusing on something, whether it's your breath, whether it's the task you're doing, whether it's thinking, inhale, I am, exhale, at peace, because that way we're thinking something. And to simply say, quiet your mind, things are going to come through. So I like, and I teach the mini meditation, which is, I think, something that I had mentioned on one of your previous shows, is inhale, I am, exhale, at peace. And if other thoughts float through, you just dismiss them without judgment. You just acknowledge, oh, I was thinking, and go back to inhale, I am, exhale, at peace. It gives your brain something to do. And it's estimated we have about 60,000 thoughts a day, and that 50,000 of those are negative. That's a huge amount of thoughts. It's a huge amount of negative thoughts. And to tell someone, oh, just stop thinking them, that's really hard to do. I think it's a little bit unrealistic. So that's why I like to replace them with something positive, whether it's I am at peace or finding an affirmation that replaces what those negative thoughts are. Every year around cold and flu season, I have all these people saying, oh, I hope I don't get sick, or, oh, it's June, I guess I'm going to get my cold, or, they practically program their bodies to accept that illness into it. Rather than saying, I am healthy and well, my immune system is strong and resilient, which is a much better thing to think. Because, one, we can change our physiology with what we're thinking and talking about. And two, it stops that negative thinking, which leads to stress, which leads to a depletion of the immune system. So people worrying about getting sick, you're actually making yourself more prone to getting sick. And it becomes this vicious cycle. I don't get sick. I don't ever. I mean, it's so rare that I would ever call a client and say, "I'm not feeling well. I'm not coming to the office." People always ask how I do it, or they tell me how lucky I am, which is it's not luck. I'm creating that. It's the fact that I stay positive and I try not to let that stress get to me. And we all have the ability to do that. It takes practice. We're all starting at various levels, but we all have the ability to make those different choices to decrease our stress.
So, Kathy, what got you involved in